Welcome to the podcast for the first time, the great Casey Armstrong. Now, before Casey introduces himself, I have to flat out admit right now I am badly hungover. If my face looks shiny, I've got the sweats so bad. I honestly thought that there was a potential for a heart attack this morning. It was so. Oh my God!
How much were you drinking, man?
See, we're talking at least 12 Guinness yesterday amongst the nose beer.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
Hello.
Casey, hello, and how are you today?
I'm so white and gross and pasty. Other than that, I'm happy to see you, and that's a beautiful thing. I feel like I'm a part of Ireland.
Yeah, well, you need to have the small penis, no erections law. That's how my day has been, despite best efforts. And of course, the guest co-host today, the lovely and talented Chad Ainby,
Yes.
who Chad used to be one of those guys who used to work for a little somebody who KC also used to work for, which I'm sure we'll get more into later. And no, I don't mean in the child pornography production company.
That was way after that. Yeah, way.
Yeah, it was a different time in our lives.
Yeah, and that wasn't even a job. That was just a hobby, you know, a good bit of fun, the boys.
Yep, film stars, the whole 9 yards.
At the time of recording this episode, Casey, you just 3 or 4 days ago appeared on the Anthony Cumia show.
Great guy.
Back in my day, the idea of there being a crossover between the shows seemed completely impossible because it seemed like there was a war, if you know what I mean, like a feud going. So talk to me about your experiences at the time of living the Opie and Anthony versus Hard Stern war.
Dude, that's a great question, man. And
I know I'm very good at this.
Okay, all right. Well, back then, Opie and Anthony were on in afternoons, and I believe I was living in Jersey City, so I would drive a car from Midtown, and I'd be in the car for a couple hours, with the traffic and everything. So I would listen to Opie and Anthony, and I remember the war where there was a kind of a muzzle on those guys, and I just remember being so impressed with Anthony, how funny he was with his impressions of Dice and Tom Brokenjaw, and the guy was I'm like, this guy is talented, man, and he's really good. So I guess I was a secret fan, guys.
As somebody listening to both shows, it was like you got the best of both worlds because you guys would go off at anywhere between 10:30 and 11:30, and all you had to do is wait till 2:00 for them to start. And you would bide your time. You literally had your whole day planned until 7:00. So yeah, right. It was the best of both worlds growing up in the Northeast.
Now, you were an intern, started as an intern. I know you got. What years were you around there for?
So
path maybe in
no 05.
Okay, so just
late 05. Yep. So I was there the last go around at K-Rock.
Okay, right before they went to Sirius.
Right, literally that last couple of months before the exit from K-Rock.
Gotcha. All right.
Well, how was it behind the scenes though with people like Stern and Gary Dalbate, who, in my opinion, he should be called Baba Booey. There you go. It's one of my great ideas. What was it like in the back offices of the show during the war? Because Opie and Anthony were kind of cutting into the Stern audience.
Chad, I'll let you take that one, bud.
Well, so around the time that I was there, Opie and Anthony had just come back to XM. So they really weren't kind of looking at them as the competition at that point. Really, there was more Opie and Anthony trying to get on the radar with the Howard crew. And I could talk to I think I said it on Hughezy's show before because of the march to Sirius and the Opie and Anthony crew kind of invading that. but you take it with the heyday, the 99 2000, because I actually have a question for you about that time when you're done answering this one.
Sure. So what I remember is we didn't name them at all, and it wasn't a huge topic of discussion, but they were known as the Howard Stern impersonators by Howard. That's what he called them. And I'm talking about when I first started listening, when they used to have Jay Moore on, just around that time before they were going at each other's throats, because we never mentioned them. Gary never talked about them. It was kind of like persona non grata. What you don't talk about it. We know that they're there, and to be honest with you, when you work there, you kind of think that you're the Yankees as far as the show's popularity, and because your boss, your fearless leader, is saying that, and you go to war with him, and you believe what he says, and he made it seem like they weren't even a blip on the map, but with Anthony's talent, that wasn't going to last that long.
Did Stern ever in private meetings bring up Opie and Anthony?
No, only if sometimes, like my job was to, I booked a lot of the guests. It was me and Gary that booked the guests back then. And if he got word that they were on the other show, well, and they were on the fence, unless it was like an A lister or something like that, even a B lister. But if it was a comedian who did their show and Howard knew about it, we would pass on him right away.
Did you ever have any run-ins with Opie or Anthony back in those days?
No, I never did, and we were right up the street. I didn't meet Anthony until I was living in California, and came back 10 years after. So no, never had any run-ins at all.
Because it always seemed, at least in hindsight, from stuff that was said on the air, that it was very much all Opie who seemed to want to really start a feud and make a feud way more serious of an issue than what it may have actually been. So even though Stern was always kind of like about it, you would think that and Anthony Cumia just seems like a chill, swelled out, happy, friendly guy as long as you're white. And
You're funny.
I really am. I really, really am. I was telling that last night in the bar, and this guy punched me the second time. And I said, you son of a gun, you. That's the exact word.
You.
Yeah, now sell me that bag and get out of here.
I thought Conor McGregor was over here. I thought he was doing stuff in New York. I didn't know he was at a bar.
Oh, yeah, well, you've got to avoid those charges somehow. But
so you think that Opie would be the one who was driving the narrative of we got to be at war with Stern, while Anthony just continues his thing that he said, I just want to kind of be there and collect, my very hefty check, and I'm happy to be on the radio. I kind of think that Anthony was also happy to be at war because that kept people interested in their show, because it's like, hey, it's our fan base against their fan base. You're either an O&A fan with your wow sticker, or you're a Howard fan with your hey now and Baba Booey and all that shit. So I don't know. I think if you asked Anthony back in 99, 2000, he would probably say, no, I'm all against Howie, the same way that Opie would have been. It's just now looking back in 2023, he's going to say, oh, no, it was all Opie driving it. So I think it just depends on when you ask him.
Chad, it's funny that you said that, because I just saw him a couple of days ago when I went into the city to see him, and he talked just about that. He said, you kind of follow where your partner's going. You got to have some camaraderie and loyalty, and if your partner's going down there, you kind of go with them. I had heard, like I said, I never met Opie or talked to him ever, but I what I gather, and from what I've heard, is he might have been a little obsessed with Howard. And why not? The guy, if you're in radio, why not be obsessed or interested in the number one guy who's ever done it? You
Yeah.
know, it's like if you play baseball or you play basketball, you're going to want to see how Michael Jordan shoots a free throw, or if you're into what my man from Ireland is into, you're going to want to go and order a Guinness and go to the bathroom and do a bump with somebody. I mean, come on, you're going to have to do it.
A bump?
I was gonna say a bump.
Yeah. What am I over here?